What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Latest on Sports Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in today. As you can tell from the title and thumbnail, we've got our yardage and stat leaders going on today. Pretty simple video, but we're going to give you some in-depth, and trust me, early on there are going to be some shockers. Tyler, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, so thanks for joining. We're going to kick off with the 2020 predictions of the quarterbacks. We'll start with the quarterback stats. We'll go teeters.
Touchdowns, all right.
Passing touchdowns. I'm going to go, no bias at all, Russell Wilson.
No bias at all. Yeah, can we put an asterisk next to that?
How many, I thought it'd be, how many touchdowns did you think your passing leader was going to score?
Well, I had mine going for 40. I won't say who he is, but Lamar Jackson led the league with 36 this year.
Interesting. I'm going to say Russell goes for 37 next year just because he has more time this year, hopefully, just from the reports. He's got a better offensive line. His weapons are getting better and better every day. They're literally loaded, I think, and so it'll be really interesting.
Russell Wilson is a top 3 football player on this planet. Changed my mind.
But the thing is that the Seahawks also look like they're going to have a pretty decent running game. They have Carlos Hyde now.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
They got a lot of key pieces, so maybe that takes away from the passing touchdowns. We'll see. But right now, I got Russell.
All right, my touchdowns. This is going to surprise some of you guys, but I got Carson Wentz. He's got a healthier team and a healthier body. They took Jalen Reagor in the first round, and a big thing for passing touchdowns is those big red zone threats, and they've got 2 excellent tight ends in Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert.
Facts.
Their wide receiving core is just, they've gotten better. Miles Sanders is stepping up to be a running back 1 in this league. All the stars align for Carson Wentz to have a great year. I'm saying he throws for 40 touchdowns and leads the league in all touchdowns.
How many tiers is Reagor?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Rookie wide receivers don't usually just go off.
Exactly.
Reagor's probably.
But he might find some sneaky touchdowns, maybe 8.
I think he's probably gonna have a stat line around 750 yards and probably 5 touchdowns. I think that's a moderate goal for this year. But Eagles fans, you guys probably know better than I.
And Ertz with like 10 maybe.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I got Carson Wentz. Who do you got for yards?
Passing yards, I have Dak Prescott, and I know that. I had such a hard problem putting Dak over people like Drew Brees and Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. But the wide receiver core of the Cowboys is so
CeeDee Lamb to
they
add
do
on
have
to it?
They have
a
very good chance of having 3 100-yard receiving. 1,000-yard receiving.
Yeah.
Seasons. I don't think Gallup gets it, honestly, in the end.
Gallup actually sneakily went for 1.1K last year.
I know, but I don't think he gets it this year. I think CD does get it. I don't know. It's tough. But I know that Amari's going to be there, and I know that either CD or Gallup gets there, but not both of them.
Sure.
And so I think Dak throws for – I just don't think they'll win.
Yeah.
But he'll throw for a lot of yards. Because he is all the time in the pocket.
My passing yards. Everybody chill out in the comments real quick. I got my guy Drew Lock coming in to lead the league in passing yards. If you guys know anything about me, which I don't think I talked about this because we hadn't had the podcast yet, but I like Drew Lock as a passer better than Kyler Murray coming out of college. I thought Drew Lock was the best passing quarterback in the draft last year. I love Drew Lock.
Very excited. We're very excited to see him go.
How on earth he fell to the second round, I don't know. I mean, the Broncos just got beyond lucky. And then to add on to that, they got my favorite wide receiver in the draft, Jerry Jeudy, took KJ Hamler in the second round, and they have
Deshaun Hamilton and Courtland Sutton.
Yep, they got Deshaun Hamilton, Courtland Sutton. Noah Fant. He's coming up, and don't forget about Albert Okwuegbunamhammer.
Who ran the fastest 40.
I don't know how you say his name, but he was one of Drew Lock's favorite targets at Iowa. I think Drew
Missouri.
Same thing. They're the same. They're all the same colors in the Midwest. But yeah, I think Drew Lock has got like 8 good targets, like 8 solid starting caliber targets.
I don't know if this year's the year though. I think next year's the year because I think Broncos, they might make playoffs, have 9-7 8-8 record. They draft a great offensive lineman, probably someone out of Ohio State or Alabama. They need to get a good offensive lineman. Once he has time, game over. Once he has time,
that's true. Drew Lock taking over the league this year. I have him at just under 5K yards, throwing for about 4.9 thousand yards this season.
You can transfer into your INT.
Sure, I'll hop right into it. My passing interceptions leader, I've got Jared Goff coming up. I mean, it sucks to lose a guy like Brandon Cooks this upcoming season, so he's not going to be there. But Goff threw 16 interceptions last year, which was tied for 4th in the league. I think that's going to bump up 3 interceptions to 19. and end up leading the league with 19 interceptions. Jared Goff.
Plus, he is in the NFC West, which is now
extremely
the super tough
talented division.
Jamal's going to get 2 off him this year.
Okay, chill out. But can I just say, I almost put Jameis Winston on here, even though he's a backup.
Even though he's a backup,
he threw 30 interceptions.
That's crazy to me.
30 interceptions last year. That's like 2 per game on average. Like,
yeah, it is.
It's crazy. But I mean, look, maybe Drew Brees is up by 40 in the fourth quarter, and shoot, Jameis goes in and throws 3 to close out the game, and then they have to put Drew Brees back in. So I mean, it's improbable that Jameis leads it, but I'm just gonna acknowledge the fact that Jameis Winston is still in the NFL. You know what I mean?
And if Drew Brees goes down again,
then that's true. They don't have Teddy Bridgewater. They got Jameis Winston.
He did throw 30 touchdowns though. So all right. So for my interception leader, I did have Josh Allen, but he only threw 9 last year, so I can't do that to him because there's no proof or whatever. I don't have any reasoning. I thought
it's just a feeling in your gut.
At first I did, and then I thought about it. I saw the stat, and I was like thinking maybe he's gonna force stuff into Diggs and get it intercepted because of decision making.
Well, let me just add on. Diggs is kind of annoying about getting the ball, so maybe Allen's gonna be like, shoot, I gotta get Diggs the ball.
Exactly.
Fits him in tight windows.
That's why I think Josh Allen will still have like 13, but thinking more in depth, I came up with Sam Darnold. I think he's gonna have 17, and so that's a lot lower than Jameis.
30.
And then 21 was Baker.
Yep.
And I think Baker has a better year, in my opinion. But Sam Darnold throws 17 just because new rookie wide receiver. He just doesn't have the option. He doesn't have the O-line.
I mean,
he just doesn't have enough, you know. So I think that he.
Is there anybody in a lesser position to succeed than Sam Darnold right now? That's a video in its own, but I really don't think
the Jets are wasting Sam Darnold.
I don't think
he's a good player.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody in the NFL that's set up for success less than.
Because the Jets' defense isn't bad, but Jets' offense just doesn't.
Well, they got a lot worse this offseason with the departure of Jamal Adams. But anyway, let's move on to running the ball. Who do you got leading the league in rushing yards this season?
No, I wrestled with this one. I wanted to go Christian McCaffrey, but I ended up going Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb?
Sure. Yeah. How many yards did you put?
Well, I got Josh Jacobs coming in.
That's fair.
All right? Josh Jacobs is a stud. He led the league in forced missed tackles. Maybe it was just per game because he didn't play every single game. He's got a more dynamic offense. Obviously, they took Henry Ruggs in the first round, extremely fast. I think their offense is just going to be better this year. Mm-hmm. Derek Carr is going to have a better season with a fast target like Henry Ruggs. And I've got Josh Jacobs running for around 1.7 this year.
Yeah,
which is about what Derrick Henry ran for this year.
All right, I got Chubb for about 1.65.
Sure.
So, yeah, just around there. Okay,
you
got, what's next? Catches?
Receiving yards. Let's do receiving yards. I'm going to hop in for another shocker. Well, maybe not shocker, but Kenny Golladay is my pick here.
I mean,
you're in my fantasy league, but I'm already talking about it. I'm picking Kenny Golladay in fantasy football. I'm a huge Kenny Golladay fan. With the addition of DeAndre Swift, a healthy, speedy running back to add to that offense, and a healthy Matt Stafford, I see no reason why Kenny Golladay can't put up 1.4, 1.5 thousand yards this season. Now, I know Michael Thomas put up, 1,700 something. Like, that's kind of crazy. But I think Michael Thomas is going to drop back a little bit because I just don't see how you can have back-to-back seasons with 1.7. But Kenny Golladay, I think he's going to go around 1.4 thousand yards this season with a healthy offense and a healthy Stafford.
The thing is, if you have, because we talked about this, if you have Michael Thomas leading in catches, but his yards go down.
Well, so he had, we'll get to it later.
Okay.
We'll get to that later. We'll talk about that next.
Okay. Well, I got, I'm going to go Chris Godwin.
Sure.
The Bucks, because you got Tom Brady, and I think that he's just a guy that you're gonna check down to, and he's just gonna.
Tom Brady's overrated.
Exactly, but he's gonna check down to him.
Yeah, that's true.
Chris Godwin's gonna take off.
He's gonna be the new Michael Thomas this season.
Maybe Chris Godwin's gonna have 1,500, 500,
1550.
Yep, I think 1550. I think Michael Thomas will be like 200 yards behind him, and Julio will be 300 yards right there. It's gonna be really close, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's all going to be in that division.
All right, we'll move on
Think about that.
To catches. This was kind of strange. Tyler and I get here. We're ready to film the episode. We're looking through each other's leaders, and we notice that we both have Michael Thomas for 130 catches this season.
Exactly
130. The exact same thing. I'll explain. I don't think Michael Thomas is going to have 149 catches again because that broke Marvin Harrison's record. I don't think he's breaking his own record back-to-back years, but I think it's going to regress a little bit. And as we know, Michael Thomas is not a guy to get 130 catches and then just get 10 catches a game for 220 yards. If he gets 10 catches, it's probably 110 yards. You know what I mean? He doesn't really get a lot of yards per catch. So that's why I think he can still have 130 catches and not lead the league in yards.
Okay. All right, I got you. And people are going to really limit the yards he gets after catch.
Sure.
So, I'm same as Jake, so we're going to move on to receiving TDs, receiving touchdowns. You got that? Okay. I'm going to go first. I have DeAndre Hopkins and Devante Parker tied at 12. I know it's risky having a new wide receiver in a new system leading the league in TDs. Yeah. But I think that everything just works out because he's one of the best wide receivers, and Kyler Murray is getting better. He still has Larry from one more year. Yep. So it's
Kirk
going to open up a lot of options, and not everyone's focus is going to be crazy, but I think Hopkins can get 12. And Parker.
I really like the Parker pick.
I know because
I don't like the Tua Tagovailoa pick. Gosh, you guys know that if you're a true fan. I hate the Tua Tagovailoa pick. But anyway, keep going.
I know you don't like Tua, but I know the Dolphins. I know what they're gonna do this year. They're gonna have Fitzpatrick start off the year, and when it's time, Tua's gonna come in.
Well, I mean, if you're Tua Tagovailoa, are you gonna go in and Jakeem Grant and Allen Hurns opted out? Are you gonna throw to anybody not named Devante Parker?
Exactly.
I mean, I agree. I think Devante Parker is going to be up there with around 13, 14. I'm going to put a couple more touchdowns.
He's just going to find a way in the end zone, and I don't think Dolphins going to win necessarily yet, but he's going to have a good year.
They're close. They've got some pieces. They just got to develop a little bit more. All right, we'll bump over to tackles. I've got Joe Schobert, however you say his name, former Brown, new addition to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think in order for the Jags to have a fighting chance, I'm not going to say to win, to have a fighting chance to win, they have to have Joe Schobert making plays. He is probably a top middle linebacker in this league. I don't want to give out numbers because then people get mad at me and heckle us in our comment section, so I'm not going to put out numbers. It's up for you to decide. But he's a very, very good linebacker, and I think he's going to have around 160 tackles this season, 160 tackles. And that's going to put them in the best position to succeed. They drafted C.J. Henderson in the first round, and so the secondary is going to be a little bit better. Maybe it's going to be more tempting to run the ball now, especially since they lost Calais Campbell. So I think maybe running the ball is going to be a little bit more exciting versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that's where Joe Schobert is going to collect all of his tackles.
And, I mean, that defense has lost so many pieces. He's going to rack up so many tackles,
They are no longer the Saxonville team they were in the AFC
That's sad,
Championship.
but it's moved on.
That's why you don't build teams through free agency, folks.
Because you're going to crash hard. So, not any bias at all, but I have Bobby again.
And that's fair.
Because he led it last year. And, I had a tougher time this year just because Seahawks are adding another linebacker, Jordan Brooks, who's going to come in a lot more.
And Jamal Adams making plays in the run game.
So we'll see. I don't know how likely it is, but I'm not going to go away from it. It's either going to be
it's a conservative
Bobby pick. Or...
Yeah.
I forgot.
All right, you want to kick us off with stacks?
Yeah, I'll do stacks. I got Nick Bosa at 19.
Woo! Nick Bosa, 19.
I do have Nick Bosa.
Wow.
It's going to be high. Chandler Jones, Shaquille Barrett, and TJ Watt are all going to be right behind him at 18 and a half. But Bosa, the thing about Bosa is that his D-line's really good. So, he's going to have free reign out there.
Shout out to the 49ers for trading Buckner to the Indianapolis Colts.
That's going to hurt his case, but you have Javon Kinlaw again. So I think Bosa has a great season.
Yeah. Gosh, Nick Bosa, Defensive Rookie of the Year, but 19 sacks.
He's going to explode.
That is a prediction. All right, I'll jump in. We're staying in the same division. I got Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones is the most disrespected player in football today.
Yeah.
Chandler Jones is so good at football. For me, it was depending on did I want to put Chandler Jones at sacks or forced fumbles. I threw him in at sacks. I have him getting 18 sacks this season. And adding Isaiah Simmons in the draft is only going to help his case. Yeah. Isaiah Simmons can play anywhere. He can blitz. They're maybe going to have to keep an offensive lineman, maybe not free, but have a little bit less of an assignment to be ready for Isaiah Simmons blitzing down the middle or out the outside. So I think Chandler Jones is just, with Isaiah Simmons there, it's only going to make his job easier. And he put up one crazy season last year. So Chandler Jones, it's his year to lead the league in sacks with 18 this year.
All right, that's fair. We have very similar lists from here on out.
Yeah.
Forced fumbles, I think we can agree that
TJ Watt.
TJ Watt.
TJ Watt.
His ability to force fumbles
is crazy.
Is very
absolutely
impressive.
The single most snubbed. I've said single most a lot of times in this video, but TJ Watt is the single most snubbed player in the Madden rankings this year. What did he get, an 86 and 85? He was also snubbed off the All-Pro list. He was a second-team All-Pro last year. No, he's a first-team All-Pro player. I'm going to interrupt you here. I'm just saying because we both have the same player. I'm saying he's getting 10, 2 up from last year. He was tied for first last year with 8 forced fumbles.
Well, I have
him getting 10.
So. And forced fumbles doesn't mean that you get it. You know,
yeah,
you
don't have to recover it. It just means that you flick your hand at the quarterback's wrist. And let me just say, for those of you guys who just play Madden or don't watch a lot of football, safeties don't really force a lot of fumbles just by nailing people. That's just not what happens.
Yeah.
Forced fumbles are usually led, well, not usually, they're almost always led, aside from Charles Tillman, by pass rushers coming off the edge and swatting the ball out of the quarterback's hands. So that's why we've both got an edge rusher here.
Plus, I think he's going to wreak havoc on the Steelers and the Browns.
Yep.
2 times a year.
Yep.
Oh, no, he is on the Steelers, so I meant Ravens.
Yep. And that's true. That could very well happen. So we've got the same people for INT. Why don't you lead us off with your explanation?
I got Minka and Kevin Byard. Tied at 7.
Shoot, I don't even know.
7 each. Because Minka had, 6 or 5 last year? And
I think he had 5.
And he only played for the Steelers how many games?
Oof.
Exactly.
12, I don't know, 13.
And so I think Minka has a great year.
Yep.
And then I think Kevin, he was top last year.
He's just so consistent. He is.
No one's going to throw to Gilmore, so that's why I don't have Gilmore.
Yeah.
Gilmore's still going to get 6 or 5, but no one's going to throw that way.
Yeah.
And same with
Minka, let me just add, if you guys haven't picked up, I'm a Colts fan. All right. Minka Fitzpatrick took a pick 6 from Brian Hoyer because Jacoby Brissett got hurt. He took a pick 6 from Brian Hoyer 98 yards to the house. I'm pretty sure it was untouched. It was just he was middle third safety in cover 3 and just jumps a seam from the tight end. Just crazy instincts. He single-handedly won them that game. So I didn't put Minka in my spot. I have Kevin Byard. But Minka is a good candidate to win that. Again, very, very much snubbed in the Madden rankings.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got Kevin Byard. I think he's going to have 6, which would tie him for leading the league if it was last year. 6 is a more conservative number for leading the league in picks. Usually it's up there around 7 or 8. But I think Kevin Byard has consistently been around 4, 5, and 6. So he's going to stay at that number. But the stars are going to line for him. He's going to lead it this year. And I believe last year in my Madden rankings, in my stats predictor, I also had Kevin Byard leading the league along with Eddie Jackson. So I was close on that one.
Nice.
Close on that one. But is that all you've got for us, Tyler? Anything else to add on Kevin Byard and Minka?
That's all. You covered it.
All right, so if you've made it to the end, we appreciate you guys. Leave us a like rating if you enjoyed it. Follow us on Instagram at Latest on Sports Podcast. We'll keep you updated on our videos and such from there. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope if you like our content, you can hit us with the subscribe. Leave a like on the video and comment anything you'd like us to talk about. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yes, sir.